Wild. So yeah, I went to go live, and it's like, alright, you're live. Lost connection. Immediately. And I'm like, okay. That's odd. I'll just try to go to reconnect. No connection. Okay. Keeping in mind, I was watching Twitch chat move over there, so I had internet, and I had internet to Twitch specifically. But, I couldn't stream. Had to shut everything down and start all up again. So this is technically our 7th attempt, to go live today. What the hell? It's true, Lurker. So, Zawan, since you are basically the only person donating to this, I spent some time last night thinking about transmogs and trying to figure out a few things. And I'd like your approval, sir, for the new sexy suit. Which, A, actually matches, unlike the last one. And B, still shows off plenty of skin, but C, D, E, whatever we're up to, in my opinion, looks way better. Obviously, I already dumped the money on it, but it is your call, not mine, since you're the primary donator towards that. So if you approve, we will call that the new sexy suit for the Blood Elf. Awesome. I was looking at transmog for these two characters, and I'm extremely limited in what I can do, especially with the Pandaren. I do have an idea, which we'll actually be showcasing today, but I wanted to finish the North Barrens before we did that, so... But yeah, being level 85 opened up our options considerably. Okay!
Well, spit it out.
Welcome, monk. Fresh off the boat from Ratchet. Any news? Caslow calls this 10%. You tell him I'm gonna weigh these. I suppose he expects me to pay you a delivery fee as well. Fine, fine, have some spoils.
If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Good morning, Ranam Kadu. Ranam CT. I don't know how to say her name. Good morning. That's what I'm going to say. Hey, Iron Man, you see this footprint? Found them all over the camp last night. Nothing's missing, but our belongings have been examined. The muddy trail leads back to the sludge fen. Someone's been sniffing around, and I don't like it one bit. Hello, Illyria. How are you doing? Can you go west into the sludge fen and investigate? See if you can't find any more tracks like this one.
Do not get on Gallywix's bad side.
I'm gonna stop doing the voice. You ever have one of those mornings where you're coughing so badly that you give yourself a headache? Iron Man, we got a real problem here. There's an overpopulation of hyenas just west of the sludge fen, and they're starting to become a menace. If I have to listen to them caterwauling one more night, just might go crazy. If I don't know what this is, the hyenas might even have made off with one of the stabled pigs, so we can't have that happening. Can you go out thin the hyena numbers? You'll find them parading in broad daylight of the west.
Don't try anything stupid.
Hey, how you doing?
Competition, schmompetition. I'm just a little guy trying to set up my own independent business. Working hard towards the Azerothian dream, you know? As soon as I set up shop, venture company next door decided they wanted me out. They've been harassing me with threatening letters using words like cease and desist. Worst of all, schematics for my newest machine are missing. And I know those corporate pilferers stole them. Go to the sludge fen and knock out some of their employees. I know they're hiding my blueprints.
Catch you on the flip side.
The venture company have a small research facility west of here, just past the sludge fen. I don't know very much about what they're doing, but they did manage to something. They've discovered something they're experimenting with. Something called a samoflange. What the heck is a samoflange? Whatever it is. I wanted to examine it, so I need someone to go get it.
See you around, friend.
So, WoW likes to do referential humor. I think we all can agree and acknowledge that. One of the other interesting things about WoW is it tends to create its own referential humor. So, yeah, we, yes, this is a copy wrong quest. So, yeah, for those of you not aware of the infamous, what the hell is a Samoflange? Just Google Samoflange or YouTube Samoflange. It'll come up pretty quick. But they took the Samoflange thing, and they've actually run with it in WoW. A Samoflange is now apparently a critical component of some of the higher technology items in the setting. In fact, one of the apparently one of the big reasons why Black Fuse was such a brilliant engineer was he fully understood the might and power of the Samoflange. Similarly, there's actually a quest which we'll be doing much later in Ashara when we go there at 85 or whatever. And during that quest, there's a particular goblin who has been driven mad by the power of the ultimate Samoflange, and so forth and so on. It'll be a recurring thing. Again, just kind of like the whole, this was just a setback thing. But anyways, yes, Toaster, this is my usual start time. I'm actually a little bit late because I was having a coughing fit, as I usually do in the morning. In response to Zawan's question, at the bare minimum, we're going to be doing the North Barrens and a little treat. Based on our time after that, now that Zawan has left, of course I'm answering his question. After that, we may or may not be doing Ashenvale. And if we do Ashenvale, we'll be trying to do it on both sides, because the story in Ashenvale... No, I know exactly what's causing it, Psychotic. It's something in the house. Don't worry, I'm moving soon. Anyways, we're going to be doing Ashenvale on Horde and then Alliance, so... Because that's actually how the story works. Horde goes through first and wins, and then Alliance pushes back and wins, so... You look around and notice the lake is covered in slick oil. The once beautiful oasis has been ravaged. You feel a deep sense of foreboding. Whatever's lurking around the sledge fens don't appear to be human. Judging from the remains, it's also dangerous. Well, before we do anything else, we gotta find a Samoflange. Let's see, we're just gonna sneak our way up here. Sneak, 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 sneak. Sneak, 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 sneak. That's how you sneak, right? You just say the word over and over. Oh, crap! Someone saw me! Whew. I thought it was up here. Apparently I'm wrong. Seriously, where's the Samoflange? Should have been right there. Oh, whatever. Why don't I just go ahead and... You know, I love the idea that I'm swimming through oil-slicked lake right now. That very idea just sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Aha! Bam! Well, that's one mystery solved. Of course, there's another player around here because they just took my quest from me. So, in all seriousness, while I'm walking around, we'll talk about transmog for a second. I've tried to figure out some kind of transmog suit for Iron Man. It's not happening. It's the summary here. Like, it's just not happening. Because, A, he's a Pandaren, and B, he's never going to get past level, like, 64-ish, I want to say. So that limits his options excessively on what he can do. So, yeah. Also, Venture Company, one of the most evil of the various trade cartels. Once again, equal opportunity. All the evil groups are equal to opportunity. I think there's a message here. Hey, Joe. What is up? Seriously, it's kind of weird, actually. Still trying to get my breathing steady, which is why I haven't talked too much. I'm sorry. I swear I'll have more to talk about today. Hopefully. I might not. There might be no discussions today. So, Grey Wolf, what are you talking about with Lionhead Studios? I don't know what you're talking about. Explain, sir. As I ride my golden panther. Am I still online? That's actually a good question, considering the issues I've had this morning. I'll just ask the question. If no one responds, then I'll check myself. Basically, there's some stuff in the ventilation ducts, Joe Neutrino, and it's been giving me some serious issues while I'm sleeping. That's the summary. I will go and get the Samoflange while we're out here. Wait, Lionhead closed? I was gonna say, huh, that's interesting. It's not actually that surprising, which is probably the interesting part. That's the kind of thing I would have predicted from happening years ago. No offense to Molyneux fans. But the man has a bit of a track record for being unreliable. Alright, what do we got? A variety of, I have a bad immune system, Social Maker. So, it's easier for me to get sick, and it's harder for me to get unsick. And that's been true for years, so... A variety of buttons, levers, and blinking lights are somewhat erratically arrayed on the face of the control console. A small gauge indicates the apparatus is currently operating within optimal levels, and indicates that control valves 1 through 3 are currently open. Okay. The 3 control valves are open. The various readings of the control valve lead you to presume they must be shut off before it can be... Okay, so let's shut off the valves here. Let's see. We'll shut off this valve. Alright, then we'll shut off this valve. Alright, what do we got? Not for another month or so, Grunge, no. Hope you're doing better, Grunge. The lights indicate the 3 control valves are dim as they shut off. Green lights slowly fade into yellow, and switch controlling apparatus is now movable with the valve closed. The apparatus deactivated. The control panel can be opened up and the Samoflange removed. All that's left is getting the key. Let's see if I can find the goblin with the key. Oh, don't be silly, Joe. We all know that a Pandaren will speak with a fairly Pandaren accent. But what we're talking about right now is goblins. Goblins don't quite talk like Pandarans. I know it's crazy. This guy's name is Sniggles. I want you to be aware of that fact. His name is Sniggles. The Goblin. The Tinkerer, no less. Okay, so... Alright, we do all sorts of technobabble. There are other strange botanical objects which seem to have served no practical purpose. Pushing them aside and digging deeper into the console, you find the Samoflange. We've got it, guys. We've got the Samoflange. Hey, Deacon. Oh, there's a hole. I don't know, Zuon. What the heck is a Samoflange? We know what it looks like in-game. I was hoping to show one off, but it looks like they don't show one here. Don't worry, we'll solve that mystery in about 80 levels. Or, I guess, 55 levels, give or take. You know, I wonder how the Samoflange was, labeled. Yeah, Social, I know some people have already spoiled the Warcraft Chronicles. I actually did a brief look into finding some of those spoilers myself, and then decided, after finding nothing, believe it or not, to just kind of give up on it. It's like, you know what? I already decided I want to give you guys my live reaction on camera when I'm reading it for you. So, it would ruin that if I were to find out in advance. Hello, Loffit? Loffit? I don't remember. I'm sorry. But hi. I can't believe they'd stoop so low. Did you get my blueprints back? Thanks for recovering them. Now I can continue to work on the Silver Bullet X831.
Have a good one. Yep, what do you want?
Oh, you're back. Do you have the Samoflange? This is, interesting, yes. A device this complex is best analyzed by a team of skilled engineers in a clean room, painstakingly reverse engineering each component in a controlled environment. But who has those kind of times? Let's just fire it up and see what it does. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a Samoflange.
Keep your ear to the ground.
Isn't it beautiful?
Well, spit it out.
That didn't go as expected. I think I busted it. No need to panic, though. Do me a favor and walk this over to Brack here. He'll bang this sucker into shape real quick.
Don't be a stranger. Quickly, quickly!
Did you say Samoflange? Sputter valve scored us a Samoflange? Let me see that thing. Yeah, we can get this working again. No problem. Hand me that huge mallet. No, the bigger one.
Oh, go! Hit the road!
We just need to knock the centrifugal rotary ball clutch back into alignment. Easy. Bam. Bam. Billowing clouds of white smoke? Is that by design?
Don't waste my time.
I think I really put my foot in that one. Looks like I might have knocked one of the load-bearing fluxes into the spokes with the deregulator gear. We can fix this easy. I know an expert on triple expansion piston drives who'd love to get our hands on a Samoflange. Take the broken Samoflange to Winnicky Bolt Bucket. Hey, no need to walk. It's gonna be a perfect, wait, hang on. Where's that sending me to?
Move it!
Isn't it over there? Why don't we wait on that quest for just a second? Hey, Darkrai.
Big shot, huh?
You saw the sludge being dumped right into the lake? I wouldn't be surprised if the sludge beasts were a product of their carelessness.
Yeesh! Talk my head off, why don't you?
See you around, Toaster. Good riddance. Those filthy pests are more trouble than
Hey,
worth.
I got your back.
Alright, so,
Makes sense.
send me there.
On your way. Go, go! Careful out there.
Stand still, Iron Man, and hold your breath in case you end up over the ocean. Oof! Ah, it's raining Pandoran! Well, yes. It is. I mean... Just one, though. It's okay.
Time is money, friend.
Look, I'm very busy with my work, Monk. You got something for me? Just move along. Oh, what's this? A Samoflange? What's a Samoflange? But look at the way it moves when you handle it. There's a sound of intricate gears inside. Oh, I want to fix it and see what it does. And don't you? I want to fix this Samoflange, but to do so, I'm going to need some supplies. I ran out of 17.5 gauge nugget slugs. I'm going to need a bunch of those for the work ahead. Unfortunately, closest place to get them is the Burning Blade Farm to the southwest. Place will be heavily guarded, so be careful. But the Samoflange is worth the risk.
Have a good one.
I thought Lionhead Studios was shut down. Grunge. And yeah, I took some fall damage, but it's okay. It wouldn't kill me unless I was already low on health. Thrallhall. While we cast our eyes towards the Cataclysm, who watches our backs? While our leaders take up arms against Deathwing. Please stop aiming that arrow at me. Who, the Burning Blade, plots our downfall. Even as we speak, they are gathering recruits and supplies at the farm to the southwest. I care not to meet death at the hands of the Burning Legion. It's time we took matters into our own hands. Iron Men, will you help me keep the vigil? Go and slaughter their ranks before it's too late.
May your blades never dull.
So I've been doing some reading, and apparently it is possible that the Shadow Council does not equal the Twilight's Hammer. And that the Shadow Council is just a completely separate demonic organization that has nothing to do with the Shadow Council. Or with the Twilight's Hammer, excuse me. I don't know if that's true or not. I've been running under the assumption this entire time that the Shadow Council was a part of the Twilight's Hammer, because that's how it was always presented. So, I don't know. You be the judge. I'd say the book might help, but it won't, because the book ends at Warcraft 1. He's an orc! Excuse me, he's an orc. That's how's it one. He believes he can, and therefore he can. So what that is, Social Maker, is the current donation incentive for exactly which transmog suit we use on our mains, and kind of our secondaries. It's... Oh, wait, I've got it, guys. It's not actually a bow. It's literally just a piece of yarn that's been tied between the two ends of the arc or whatever. By the way, so, okay, I have a bit of a confession to make. I'm really bad with vocabulary, right? Like, for example, if you asked me to explain how network engineering works, I would explain it, but it would sound like I have no idea what I'm talking about. Because I wouldn't use the actual words, because I can never remember the vocabulary. It's true for, like, everything. It's the same thing with programming. It's the same thing with, you know, sports. It's the same thing with physics. You know, most things that I know decently well, because I bothered to be interested enough to care and learn about it. But I have no idea what the terminology is, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. Why does this matter? Well, the other day, I was watching a rugby match. And by other day, I mean it was literally yesterday. And I was watching it, and I was like, well, I was really confused about the rules of how exactly, what exactly qualifies as a down or a tackle, or in other words, what resets the play. And I'm like, okay, I need to look this up. So I look up the rules, and I can't even replicate for you, because it was talking about the Blarney hitting the bowler over the top arm, and then the top arm needs to blah, 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 and it was just 50 words. I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. And I'm just staring at it with this look kind of like this. No idea what I'm reading. I gave up. I have no idea how rugby works.
What do you need?
Thank you, Iron Man. This old orc will sleep more safely at night.
Go forth to victory.
What's up?
You have the nugget slugs? I've been eyeing the Samoflange, and I can't wait to tinker with it. Ah, great, you got him. Now to get to work.
Pleasure doing business with ya.
Hello, Bregwin. There it is again. Behold, Bregwin, the glory of the Samoflange.
Yeah, what do you want?
That didn't work. Structural integrity of the Samoflange is an all-time low. I could add more dials to try and fix it, but that might make things even worse. Look what I discovered when I blocked the release valve and blew the cover off the differential casing, though. The personal stamp of Boss Copper Plug. Take this back to Sputter Valve and tell him to find this copper plug genius. When you're done here, just talk to me. I'll send you back using the teleporter.
Good. Well,
But last time the teleporter...
What?
Ugh. Do I have to keep using that teleporter?
What's up?
Is that my Samoflange? I don't even recognize it. It's the re-engineered Samoflange wreckage. Why did you say what? Copper plug? Boss copper plug? Oh no. This might get tricky. Tricky, not trucky. Back when I was in the Tinkers Union, Boss Copperplug was the best engineer we had. He defected to the venture company shortly before I left. Took his greatest techniques with him. He hoarded his secrets, doling out bits and pieces of knowledge to his trusted inner circle. He built the Samoflange. He's probably got the manual. Last I heard, he was operating right here out of Boulder Loan to the northeast. Go kill him!
What?
And while you're there, you interested in treasure? I knew that'd get your attention. Word from the river dock here is that one of the miners in the ventures company Boulder Lore just northeast of here discovered an emerald the size of your fist. I know a few buyers would be interested in getting their hands on something like that. Said I'd be willing to go half and half on its sale. You in?
Move it!
Yeah, that's kind of the general impression I got, Grunge. It's gridiron, but no padding. But they also don't pause constantly like American football does. We were actually discussing why I like football better than American football with a friend of mine recently, and it boils down to this. American football is like, action, stop! Check the replay. Consult with the other refs. Okay, check the replay again. Alright, here's the determination of what just happened. We will now continue play. Action! Stop! Check the replay. And that's American football in a nutshell. Football is more like halftime. Game's over. I like the flow a little bit better is what I'm trying to say. Hey, Darker. I'm serious, even times when they actually should probably pause and question something, and the replay cameras clearly show, hey, something just happened. Nope! Play on! Because that's how football works, right? And I get that. It's a little frustrating sometimes when your team was just fouled and the ref didn't catch it. And when I say fouled, I mean the other team should have gotten a frickin' red card kind of a foul, because he literally clobbered the guy in the face. But he didn't catch it, so nothing happens with it. Actually, I have not, Grunge. I am about to gain and lose about 50% of my viewers because I watch Manchester United. That's my team. Go ahead. Get it out of your system. I know how it works. I understand the risks of rooting for Manchester United. Admittedly, the other team I tend to enjoy is actually kind of funny. This channel's been deleted by my... No! The other team I tend to enjoy watching is thank you, Lurker. Is Arsenal, if anyone cares. Although Leicester's been doing some crazy stuff this year. Just out of nowhere. What can I say? I'm an all-around geek. I am a geek about cars, mechanics, physics, video games, music, art, books, literature, sports. Most sports, not all sports. Speaking of which, Formula 1's starting up in less than 3 weeks now. Woo-hoo. Well, the good news is right now FA Cup is not being run by any English team. At least I don't think so. I'm not sure what's going on in the Europa League right now, though.
Quickly, quickly!
If only we knew which one of those miners had the emerald. Be a walk in the park. What is triple red? Has trample haste and is a 6-1? If you'd ask me green, I might be able to answer that. Hang on. Alright, triple red, 6-1. Really? No results found. Okay, so let's just try triple red. Oh, gotcha. Ball light. I was just saying, I failed. I never really played red, so I got nothing. I'm sorry. I was thinking maybe it was like the lightning elemental or something, but that was like a 3-1 or something like that with haste and not trample. Oh, look at the size of that thing. We're gonna be rich. According to the rates on gems I've seen going into Undermine, I should be able to figure out your cut. 50%, don't worry. Alright, here should be about right. Plenty doing business with you.
Hit the road!
Can anyone here who doesn't know the answer guess what my color was back in MTG? Wow, Grunge. And this is another reason I try to avoid Facebook. It's like, here, let's spam you with stuff that you might care about. Sigh.
What's the word on the street?
Did you find copper plug? You found it? Wow. It's over 600 pages, only 30 of which are intentionally left blank. Let's see. Chapter 3, Backsplicing the Reverse Crankshaft Flywheel Pulley? Interesting. Chapter 7, Valve Timing for the High Pressure Expansion Condenser? Oh, this stuff is great! I don't even know what this thing does! Here, have some of my old tools. Let's fire this thing up one last time.
Be careful out there.
Alright, let's get this Samoflange operational. Hi, Zira. It's beautiful. We figured out what it does yet? Nope. All we gotta do is resequence the oscillating coolant pressure valves, and it's doing it perfectly. Is that a working Samoflange?
What's shaking?
I like how everyone knows what a Samoflange is, but not what it does. Looks like your work here is done, Monk. You better head back to the crossroads. Looking for you. My Silver Bullet X831 prototype's finished. She's ready for a test drive. What do you want to say we do me one last favor and take her for a little spin? One of my assistants will accompany you. Your sweet, sweet ride's waiting on the platform behind me. Just hop on when you're ready.
Glad I could help.
Boom! There's another way that Cataclysm quests are better, by the way. I've already pointed this out, but in a lot of cases, rather than making you walk to the next quest hub, they'll do stuff like this. Oh man, I can't believe Sputter Valves actually let me drive this baby! Have I mentioned this is my first time flying? Don't worry though, I've got everything under control. You and the rest of the world think that grunge. You're all wrong, though, for reference. Man, oh man, just look at that amazing view. Are those lions? Whoops, almost let go to the steering wheel there. You know, Schmeidoff, I wouldn't even be surprised by that. Wait until the guys back home find out about this. This is totally geared out. My dream's to be as brilliant as Sputter Valve someday. You should see his design for a two-wheel tricycle. I love the special music as we're doing this. Here we are, crossroads, safe and sound. Hang on, engine stalled. Whoa, 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 what's going on? Ah! No, this can't be happening. This wasn't part of the travel plan. Can I get off? Looks like we're taking an unexpected detour. Hold on tight. Well, maybe if I press the green button. No? Okay, how about the blue one? Let me try resplicing some wires. Ow! Ow! Yeah. Nothing's working! This is great. Unfortunately, I probably shouldn't have done this quest just yet, because I got another question. I can't stop it! I'm coming in for a crash landing! Ugh! Oh no, Sputter Valve's gonna kill me. You better find your own transport from here. I'll have to pick up the pieces and start the long walk back to camp. Poor guy. So I admit the question of which color I was kind of a trick question because I played Artifact. If you think about it though, that's very me.
Blood and thunder.
I thought you were a goner. Still good to see you're in one piece. Since you're here, maybe you can help me with a small problem. The blasted harpies have been ravaging our caravan supplies for too long. It's time we slit a few of their throats and diminished their numbers. The most devastating attack will destroy a good section of their lower chain of command. Then we can work our way to the top.
Farewell.
The only way to stop Harpy Raiders is to destroy their... What? Did I just get two of the same
For
quest?
the Horde.
Okay. I'll let that be a thing. Sure. Except it's telling me to kill different kinds of harpies, even though it was the same quest. Whatever. Whatever. Not gonna question it. Yes, I have Darker, although not in action. You will pay for my sister's death. I just got here! The first one I killed. Give me a break. Probably not darker. Like I've said many, many times, none of the spiders in WoW have ever triggered my, arachnophobia. Closest that's ever come in an MMO is Lotro. So... Wow, they're gonna rip up my eyes and feast on my heart. That does not sound tasty, girls. Seriously. Now, funny fact, I suppose if I had to pick a color that wasn't artifact, it would actually be green. But that's because green tends to have a lot of mana generation. So, for example, my main artifact deck actually did have a grand total of 4 green cards in him. I forget the name of it, but it's the one where you attach it to a land and it generates a color of your choice mana each time you tap the land. That was it, though. Everything else in the deck was pure artifact. I even actually got to the point where I started using artifact lands just for amusement factor. Yeah, the Sky Golem is a lot of fun to run around in. Wow, Bragwin, that's hilarious. I'd share most of my MTG stories, but I've already shared the best one on camera. So there's no reason to repeat that. The Witchwing Harpies live in dry hills to the north. You drop the last Witchwing talent into your bag. Thanks to you, the lower ranks of the Harpies will no longer be a problem for Darsok's caravans. I would say Lotro is still worth playing for the story. So basically, you play it through, and then you beat it because you've finished the story and then you're done. But I would still say it is worth that playthrough, absolutely. Just don't play a clothy. Have they, Joe? I haven't seriously played MTG since the Mirrodin. Well, no, since the block that was right after Mirrodin, which was the Oriental block. I forget what it was called. And then I've played MTG off and on since then. Like, I actually have a deck that I got just last year at Gen Con, which was a lot of fun. Yes, well, Gandalf is a better clothy than we are. Alright, you examine the destruction around you with a nod of satisfaction. The Harpies' leaders have been dealt with. For now. The Harpies you've killed mentioned their matron, Serena Bloodfeather. Judging from the vile hatred towards the Horde, she must hold some deep-seated grudge. You decide to hunt her down and end matters once and for all. Yeah, no kidding, psychotic. Let's see if we can find the leader of the Witchwings? I forget what exactly. No, this is totally okay. Bam! Alright, I've ripped off her head. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, call me fives. What spec is most tedious to level in WoW? That's going to be a matter of personal preference. Most healer classes are going to be really, really irritating to level in general. Not impossible, just slower. Most tank classes you'd think would be slower, but trust me, that's not. It's actually quite feasible to level as tank. For example, I am leveling as tank right now. Granted, that's a monk, but still. But in my personal experience, not counting any heal or tank spec, the one spec I tend to not enjoy leveling most of all is actually Shadow Priest. Now, in the interest of fairness, I haven't actually leveled my Shadow Priest through Warlord, so I don't know what's changed since Pandaria. But I did get kind of irritated by the, put the dot up, hit them with the big attack, Mind Flay rotation. Something about that just didn't gel with me in my mind. I don't actually know why. It is worth noting, however, that Shadow Priest is not. It is very, very solo-friendly as you're leveling up. It's just, I literally just didn't enjoy the rotation, is what it was for me. All of them, I don't know, Zawan.
Mukra.
You're not getting anywhere until I see Serena's head. Well, here. Well done, very well done. I wasn't sure you're up to the task. You've proven quite the cutthroat. Here's your terrible reward. Now that the threat here has been stifled, you should return to the crossroads.
Dabu.
Heal Monk's fun, too. Apparently, I could have been Heal Monk while leveling, and I just totally spaced that. We could technically respec now if you guys really wanted me to, but I don't want to, so I'm going to pretend that we can't respec. Yep, respecking isn't a thing. What? I actually like playing as Brewmaster, damn it. We're almost done with the Northern Barrens. And then we're going to say hi to Takoida. Hi, Takoida. By the way, I never got a chance to, or rather, I was completely an idiot and forgot to publicly apologize for the whole guns issue the other day, so I'm just going to go and flat out say, I'm sorry.
Blood and thunder.
This is Cataclysm, as per the title up there. Ah, I've heard about your work, Monk. Your timing is fortunate. I've got a major offensive in the works.
Strength.
The Centaur leadership relies on a core of trusted, disciplined warriors to keep the others in line. If we reduce their numbers, the Kolkar will have no might with which to support their rage. And so I have a bounty task for you. Around the Lushwater Oasis to the south, slay Kolkar marauders and Stormseers to collect their bracers. I'll tell you that story in a second, Octavian. Return when you have a heap of these trophies and the Horde will reward you well.
For the Horde.
Hezril Bloodmark is the leader of the Kolkar Centaurs in the Barrens. He is fierce, brutal, and cunning. Defeating him would be disrupt and fracture the Kolkars, greatly reducing their threat to us. So kill him. Bring me Hezril's head, and I will mount it from the outpost, so that he may know fear.
Dabu.
You know, you got a real thing about wanting the heads of people. I think it's kind of a problem. Listen, me and the rest of the streamers here, we'd like to just sit down. We're concerned about you. We're worried about you. The really well done settings tend to have a... Yeah, sure, hang on, Pet Darker. Sorry, I missed that. The really well done settings usually have a some kind of built-in explanation for why they're still in a medieval status. Like this! Ahem. And then there's settings that don't have an explanation. Now, I'm not actually familiar enough with the... Yes, I remember. Oh, God, I remember. I will never forget that. I'm not familiar enough with Game of Thrones to understand why they have stayed within a medieval setting. WoW, for all intents and purposes, is actually in the middle of the industrial era. In basically every way that matters. The only catch is that WoW, in my opinion, Warcraft does actually merge the magic and tech fairly well, so that there is such a thing as magitech too. So while they're in the Industrial Revolution, it's following a fairly different path than ours did, because an enchanted axe is actually basically as effective as a gun, for example, to go back to what we were talking about the other day. So they... yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Some settings don't have any explanation at all for why they're there. It's just because they want the shtick of, you know, staying in the medieval era or whatever. Some settings have some kind of built-in... some kind of built-in reason, you know, that helps explain it. A good example here is like Faerun actually does have the adventurer-based economy thing, as Dakota just pointed out, and that's one of the main reasons why it's never really become a thing, because it's not profitable. There's no purpose behind doing it, relatively speaking, for those who are involved. Because they're not thinking about progress or advancement or anything like that, they're just thinking about their next paycheck. You know how that works. So there's no one answer, is I guess what I'm trying to say here. It depends on the setting and how well written it is. Actually, the one Joker, the more I think about it, the more I actually don't agree with that. I think that actually it's fairly logical, given the fact that we know, for a fact, that at least amongst some individuals, magical armor is a thing, for lack of a better way to put it. I mean, a guy wandering around in a piece of cloth... Oh, hello. That's a weird ding. We'll take it over here, I think. Someone wandering around in... a cloth bit of armor, this should be good, is actually better protected than a real-life person in a full suit of Kevlar. You know what I mean? If it's properly enchanted. And because of how relatively commonplace and easy it is to get said enchantments, except for the lesser... So we have a weird situation in Warcraft. I've actually really put some serious thought into this, so forgive me for talking about the guns thing again. The idea here is that guns would only be used by the weaker and less prolific factions, right? Because only those factions are the ones who would actually not have the resources to get properly magically augmented gear. And therefore they would be forced to use the best mundane equipment they could. And, you know, the firearm the machine gun would basically be the answer to that. But otherwise, you know, when it comes to actually magically augmented gear, a machine gun would theoretically be not really any more or less useful than a giant freaking sword. Or a giant freaking axe or whatever. Especially since those axes are usually magically enchanted as well. So you see the reality there. So, yeah. Amusing thoughts there. Ah. As I say, I know Game of Thrones is a very old setting, so I have no idea. The only explanation I could think of with my limited understanding of Game of Thrones' lore is that the Whites are why technology's never progressed. Kind of a Reaper sort of a situation. They show up, and technology gets reset back down to zero, basically. And so humanity has to start up all over again. That's an assumption on my part. Maybe there's something that confirms or denies that in the lore, I don't know. Would a lightsaber stand up to modern guns? Theoretically, yes. Because a lightsaber could bzz the actual bullets as they come, if the wielder was actually good enough to do that.
Strength and honor. Go.
Now, I actually have a theory about that, Dakota, in Warcraft, and it's actually true in some of my own settings. It boils down to this. The way most of my settings work is certain types of materials are more conductive to magic, right? So, for example, you could put a protective spell on a piece of cloth, and it would be the equivalent of wandering around in a chunk of Kevlar, right? But if you were wearing a plate armor of a certain material, and you hit the exact same buff into it, then that would be much, much, much stronger. That would be the equivalent of actually having a whole plating of like a ship or whatever on you instead. Excuse me. So that's my assumption in Warcraft. If there's any actual lore explanation for that in Warcraft, I have no idea. But that's been true in a couple of other settings that I've mentioned. And again, some of my own settings that I write. So the idea here being plate would be useful because, you know, as long as you're skilled in the actual usage and movement of plate armor in combat, you'll actually be more defended than you would be if you were wandering around in a robe, if that makes any sense.
Loktar.
Ugh. How goes the hunt, Iron Man? If for some of my players, or some of my viewers, I can explain it this way. If you cast Impen 6 on plate armor, it would be more useful than casting Impen 6 on cloth armor. But anyways, nicely done. I'm sure you struck fear into the surviving centaurs. With their greatest warriors slain, they will either stop their advances or lash out at us in a foolhardy strike. I hope for the latter.
Go forth to victory.
Is Hezrul defeated? And I commend you, Iron Man. These centaur are undisciplined and cannot focus their rage as the orcs can. But they are fierce nonetheless. In defeating them, your valor is proven.
Strength.
The Horde commends your success, but the Kolkar themselves are maddened. I have reports that a contingent of Kolkar have traveled from the Barrens, from their home in Desolus to seek vengeance. My latest report was that even now they move against these bunkers from the west. Face the invaders and end their threat in the Barrens. Kill them and their leader, and then bring me his banner as proof. Suggested players 3. Let's do this, guys. For the Horde.
For the Horde!
At this point, we already are that kind of a person, Jedi Mew. The only thing that's left is for it to be acknowledged by the game. Which they've been doing for a while. If I could change a social aspect of humanity. I assume you mean in real life, Grey Wolf. The winds be at our back, bro. Hello, Ricky. How was northern Italy? Hello, Sonoshi. We're just finishing the Barrens, actually, Ricky. Northern Barrens, of course. Oh, actually, yeah, as an aside, the other thing I kind of like about the idea of having guns in Warcraft is we could magically enhance weapons or guns just like we could, you know, swords and axes and all that other fun stuff. In fact, they actually do. So, you know, that's a thing.
Time for killing.
Come on. Give me a real fight. 3-man group quest. My patooey. Aha! Now to set you on fire before you die. I'll take that. I don't think there's any social aspect of real-life humanity I would change. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Now, if I could change certain other aspects, I would. In my honest opinion, one of the primary flaws in humanity isn't actually a flaw in humanity. It's the fact that we exist within a limited resources society. If we were at a post-scarcity point, I honestly feel like a lot of humans' issues would go away. So, Octavian, yeah, I never actually responded to you on that. So I didn't actually get to see the movie. We went there. And we're like, ah, we're going to see the movie. Yay! They were so full, there was literally no seats left. They had oversold. They had oversold the movie. So we're like, okay, well, we can stand here and watch the movie. Or we could get a refund. We got a refund. So I haven't actually seen it yet. You have done it. You have defeated the Kolkar. I'm sure Thrall will receive word of your actions here. Whoops! Whoops! Someone forgot to update that quest.
Dabu.
Yeah, Jedi Mew. Basically that idea. Yeah, they did give us our money back. It took a while. We'll go back, and there was this brain-dead teenager. I mean, I intend no offense, but this guy clearly did not give the tiniest bit of a damn about his job. And he was just like, will you want a refund? Well, that's probably going to be a manager issue. Hang on, let me see the tickets. Yep. Yep, let me call in about this one. Hey. Hey, yeah. Yeah, listen. I need to know if we need a manager for a refund. Can we just send it back? So, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, you need to go back to the front thing. Manager will be there for that. Yeah. God, it was terrible. Anyways.
Sug.
Hello, Iron Man. I have heard of your deeds from Darsock. You are a valuable monk of the Horde. The battle in Ashenvale rages on without relent. Our forces in the Martian Rampant are in desperate need of reinforcements and supplies. We have a major shipment of medicines and food headed north, and I need a capable monk like you to guard it. But we won't be doing that right now. For the Horde! Shirking our duties for the Horde. Yeah, there's one.
I have just the thing for you.
I don't even know, Dakota. That overselling is not a problem I've encountered in a really long time. I'm really kind of surprised by that. Or overbooking, excuse me.
May the
It's the
eternal
same thing. So... what do you guys think? Should we go as Leaf Song, Valvaxis, or Xylom? What do you think is most appropriate? I'll let you guys vote. Poll. Open. Hang on. Poll new. Who should go? Xylom. You know what? I'll make this easier for you. Death Knight. Paladin. I'll go and let the monk go too. Or Druid. There you go. Vote! Vote! My children! Vote. So anyways, we're going to go see the movie later. At some undetermined point in time. I'm not telling you guys where we're going. I guess I should just say the next zone. We should go to the next zone, guys. As I turn on my heating pad. We're gonna cut this one off quick, so vote now if you're gonna vote at all. No, you gotta hit the straw poll. I'm not chatting. I'm not watching the chat for that. Cutting it off in 30 seconds. Vote or don't vote, but now's your chance. If you don't go to the straw poll, your vote doesn't get counted, because Nightbot doesn't support in-chat polls anymore. Sorry. Nothing I can do about that. 20 seconds. I don't know yet, Brigwin. I tested that it worked yesterday. I haven't actually tested it that it does its job today. And Druid it is. Bam. Druid it is. I don't know, Zoan, honestly.
Greetings.
The Darkmoon Faire is now open. For a small fee, I can teleport you to the staging area. Would you like to go? The Darkmoon Faire is coming. Experience our thrilling games, fabulous prizes, have your fortune told. If you act right now, you can redeem this voucher for a free prize tickets and a copy of the world-famous Darkmoon Adventurer's Guide to help you identify treasures in your travels. Just hand your voucher to Gelvis Grimgate outside the fair. Right now, the entrance to the fair is outside Goldshire.
Farewell. King's honor, friend.
One
Be
silver.
careful.
So, welcome to the Darkmoon Faire. We're going to do a brief look over at this. I intend to do this all from the beginning anyways. So the Darkmoon Faire is up as of today. Couple things immediately. Might be Dakota. I don't know. Act known to get this slightly used and soaked notes paper. So the Darkmoon Faire originally was basically right here, in this exact spot, in Goldshire, right outside Goldshire, I should say, and in Mulgore, outside of the Thunder Bluff. And they were both terrible. I mean, it was a cute thing, but it was like, okay, So this is it, and there was nothing to do there, really, and there was no point in doing it, and there was no rewards, so there's, like, no benefit to it whatsoever. So I and many other players completely forgot that the Darkmoon Faire even existed for a long time. In patch 4.2 or 4.3, I forget which exactly. It was during Cataclysm, either way. They suddenly were like, hey, the Darkmoon Faire has been completely overhauled, and I'm like, okay, what's that mean? Well, now the Darkmoon Faire is its own zone. In fact, you can come here as a level 1.
Can I help you?
If you don't have
Alrighty then.
a mount, they'll even give you one. Oh, I should be reading the things as we go through here. Note how terrifying this whole wood looks, by the way. Just keep that in mind for something we'll discuss in a minute. Ahead of you, down the path, a majestic, magical fair. Ignore the darkened, eerie woods. Ignore the eyes that blink and stare. Fun and games and wondrous sights, music and fireworks to light up the night. Do not stop. You're nearly there. Behold, my friend, the Darkmoon Faire. And this is actually the new Darkmoon Faire. Actually, we do have a few hints on where... Hang on just a second. There we go. On where exactly the Darkmoon Faire actually is. General best guess... Hang on. General best guess is around here somewhere, believe it or not. Or, oh, excuse me, I'm saying that wrong. Around here. South of Northrend. So, as I was showing off some of the other holiday events and some of their lore significance, there is a small bit of lore to the Darkmoon Faire, which we will be sharing, of course. This is mostly here for fun. I'll just go ahead and say that. This is a bunch of mini-games. And you know what? Call me in the minority, but props to them for the fact that not only that they have all these mini-games that you can go do and just have fun with them, but they actually have rewards that are pretty cool for collectors. You know, they've got cosmetic armor, pets, toys, and mounts here. But they also have been adding to the Darkmoon Faire fairly regularly. So there are new things that have been added in every expansion since they've actually come to the actual, the island here. The actual Darkmoon Island, which is where we are. Yeah, the races are interesting. I actually have done the races gold on camera. And yeah, those are a nightmare. But they've got lots of fun stuff here, in all sincerity, and I rather like what they've done with this place. But before we move on, I want to talk about the lore first thing, before we go into the minigame stuff. It's not even that much lore. There are hints, tiny little hints here and there, that this is basically Old God funded. Or Old God, not funded, I'm saying the wrong way, Old God supported. That Silas himself, is actually a follower of one of the old gods. Based on what we know, it's actually pretty likely he is not a follower of Unzoth specifically, because he didn't do anything when it came to the events of Cataclysm, other than setting himself up here on the island. However, there is a counter-argument to that. At the moment when Unzoth was at his strongest and was affecting things worldwide during the Cataclysm, this little guy, he's the actual one who's in charge of the fair, he managed to buy an entire island, and it's actually a horse. Here, I'll get off it. He managed to buy an entire island and set up the entire fair here. So, yeah. Here, I'll get out a boomkin for him here. I don't have the glyph yet. I'm literally one level away from being what I need to be for the glyph. Oof. There we go. There we go. That's better. There's a bunch of hints about it all over the place, but they're all really small, subtle stuff that may just be flavor, fluff, or maybe us reading too much into things. Oh, Den Mother's up. I wonder if I could kill her on this character. Or at least I wonder if I could contribute on this character, I should say. Well, see, here's my theory. We've seen Cthulhu and his machinations and how he operates. We've seen Yogg-Saron and how he operates. Cthulhu was very blunt, overt, obvious. Yogg-Saron was rather insidious and subtle, and Unzoth had tons and tons and tons of influence and power. Unzoth built up. He was patient. He's still around, too. We know there are at least one more, probably two more old gods other than those big three. We don't actually know much of how Yasharaj functioned, so... my actual theory is that there's an old god out there that is basically Sheogorath. That he's an old god who is just interested in... And so there's no big, I want to destroy the world. It's more like, yeah, it kind of the old god of fun. That kind of seriously. The general chaotic nature of just random fun. I know that sounds weird, but it does kind of fit surprisingly well. Is this one of those... Oh, can I get the buff? Because that'd be awesome. They added a lot of really cool stuff for Professions and Warlords. It's a damn shame that everything was so attached to the garrison. Because the Professions in Warlords... There it is! I did get the buff. You see that? I got the well-rested buff just for being in this tent. This is something they added to leatherworking, I want to say. They added a lot of really cool stuff to Professions and Warlords that were ruined because everything had to be in the garrisons for it. But it was still some cool stuff. Also, I hate this guy. Right there. You. I hate you. I hate you. Anyways, But yeah, so it's kind of understandable why the gnome would follow that. It's also kind of worth noting that there is a bit of a vagabonds and castaways feel amongst the old gods in general. Or the old gods, excuse me, amongst the Darkmoon Faire goers in general. In fact, there's an entire comic just about the Darkmoon Faire, which I'm going to share with you while we try and take down Moonfang here. You're right. I should get on Invincible. There we go. I'll just hang out on this thing for a minute. Anyways, so, yeah, he has a Nixia, too, which I also don't have. I sincerely doubt it, Dakota. So... There was a son of a noble lord who was human and evil, because he was human, naturally. I haven't really seen anything from the book yet, no, Draculus. I have been trying to avoid those things so I can experience it live with you guys when I read it on camera. So, any book questions, the answer is basically going to be no. Anyways, oh, someone finally pulled. Let me get involved in the fight. If I can land a spell on it, that's the trick. I have basically a 1% chance to do this. So all I need to do is get my 1% hit in. I'm in combat with it, so I might get credit for it. 1% chance. You might be like, why do you have a 1% chance? This thing's level 100. I'm level 24. And so, a lot of variables in the combat... Oh, I got him! I got him! I did it. I tagged him. Now I'm just going to stay back here and live. A lot of the variables in combat are affected by your level versus theirs. Oh, that's a good idea. Here. Be healed! There we go. Just in case. So, my hit chance against him is like I said, it's literally 1%. It's as small as it can get. Look at the power! The power! Power. Oh, okay, it's done. That was Moonfall, by the way. Or Starfall, rather. So anyways, there was a human who was, actually, a human and his brother. And both of them were... Oh, God! Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, thank God someone else took aggro off me immediately. Words. They were derogatory jerks and generally evil when it came to dealing with these people. So they were making fun of the performers at the Darkmoon Faire. I don't remember the command to turn it back down to normal off the top of my head, otherwise I already would have. Whoop, 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 back up, back off. Hey, Salty. Nah. I got a nice machine. So, they were heckling, right? But when I say heckling, I want to stress what I mean by this. I don't mean like, oh, your show's terrible and you're terrible. No, I mean like they were actively trying to cause violence to one of the performers. We'll actually showcase her in a minute. And they thought she was absolutely terrible, and they were literally going to attack her and try to kill her. That's the kind of hecklers that I actually mean. Again, human noble lords. It's actually a console command, the one that I don't remember what it is. Here, hang on, I'll look it up real quick. There it is, console spell effect level. That's the one. Here, I'll turn it down a bit. Console spell 50, I believe, is about average. It should be a little more bearable. I usually actually crank it up because I love how the spells look with it cranked all the way up. So yeah, they were like, oh, we'll kill you. And of course, naturally, the other members of the Faire stand up for her, and they're like, no, that's not going to happen. So they rush off, and they're like, we'll get our revenge. Now, you might think, Arsh, why are you calling this human evil? I mean, you're just anti-alliance bias. Well, he murdered his brother. There you go, see? That's normal. That's cranked down to 50. Actually, I think 25 is normal, but whatever. So he murdered his brother and blamed it on the woman who he was trying to heckle earlier. Violently heckle, as I mentioned earlier. Because he's a bastard. Yep. I got lucky last time. In the result of doing so, she was, the evidence was taken out, and she was naturally going to be tried and sentenced and executed, because remember, this is the son of a noble. Correct, Takoida, because most of WoW is actually rendered on your computer, not on the server. And yes, it's legitimate and legal to do so. There's no TOS violation here. So, she was, threatened with death, and she was going to be executed, all because of this, this complete asshole. Excuse me. Now, of course, he did it, as I just gave it away. The whole comic was basically proving that he actually is the one who murdered his own brother, and then blamed it on her. Oh, crap, oh, crap, oh, crap. Here. I want to see how weird it can get. I'll show you what spell effect 1 looks as soon as he casts it again. In the end, they end up, the gentleman in question is basically disowned by his noble father for the fact that he killed his brother just to get revenge on some kind of carny. And of course, anytime the spell is rendered on my computer, it would show the effect. That's the point. That's how that works. There we go. He tried to rally the people against this carny, which I find hilarious. The carnies, which I find hilarious. The people, unsurprisingly, I can't even pick up the quest. Oh, that's hilarious. Can't even pick up the quest. That was all for nothing. The people, understandably, did not rally behind him, someone who just killed his own brother and was proven and admitted to having done so. So he's like, fine, whatever, I'll leave. Take my gold and get out. This is the woman in question, by the way, right here. Carrie Hicks. She's the strongest woman alive, or whatever. But she's the one who was accused of the murder and was proven innocent. So, the guy wakes up a little bit later, the guy who actually did the murder, and he's in a coffin next to a corpse. The corpse of his brother, and he's like, "Ah!" And he completely freaks out, and he looks up, and he's in the coffin, in the grave, and there's a quote I'd like to read for you, if you don't mind. We may dress differently, or seem odd, but really we're just like anyone else. We value the same things you do. Money, happiness, family. Yes, we're a family. We're a family that, like every other rube family out there, takes care of our own. We just do it our own way. And then they lock him in the coffin and bury him alive. That's Silas, specifically, who said that quote, by the way.
Do I have a deal for you? Be good.
Alright, so you can actually buy heirlooms with Darkmoon stuff, too. And replica
How
armor.
are you?
This is actually kind of neat that they did this. So, this is actually the only way to get some of these armors anymore. The stuff that was lost from vanilla, basically. Replica Feral Heart, which is that suit, the one you actually can see right here. I thought about adding this as possibly a transmog option, but the problem is you see how much these cost. Even if I was only to get the absolute bare essential pieces, which is like chest, leggings, shoulders, which is that one there, that's more tickets than I can get in a single run. And even that would require me to have full professions, all 5 professions, in order to be able to contest that. So it is unfortunately infeasible for me to actually get this going. Now these are BOE, so maybe there might be some in the auction house. Depending on how much they are, I might go ahead and spring for that. If you guys want me to have a transmog on this character.
Keep your feet on
Otherwise,
the
I
ground.
don't have many options for a transmog on this character. I'll look into it, though. I'll keep checking the auction house. And you can buy a bunch of pets and stuff. I, of course, have, like, all of this stuff. Because, of course, I do.
Fight well.
I think there's very, very little of the Darkmoon Faire I don't have. Like, I think I have everything at this point. Unless they added something new. But I do want to show off the... yes, they will be very expensive, I know. I'd be jumping real money to buy gold to buy it. But so that's why I said it's basically your guys' choice. And it won't even show up for several days, too, because, you know, there won't be any in the auction house right now.
Interesting.
Let's go ahead and buy the coins.
Keep it real.
So this is basically how the Darkmoon Faire funds itself. In order to do the actual games, you need coins, which you actually have to spend money to get. So, well, the actual absolute max number of tickets you can get is 205. I just looked that up this morning. However, that's all 5 professions and doing the normal stuff and doing everything kind of a deal. And turning in the stuff from the dungeons. So that's a bit of a stretch. But that's the absolute max that you can get in the week is 205. That's kind of unlikely, to be completely honest. The actual amount you're probably going to get on average is closer to 107, I want to say. I can't remember. I was just looking this up. Much less. It's like half of that. But I do want to show off the mini games. So all of these are phased. They use layering to make it. So as you can see, they're just whacking at thin air. Because this way, we don't actually have
Strength and honor. Go forth to victory.
any contradictions. So this is whack-a-knoll. You have to whack the knolls. It's really simple, actually. If you accidentally whack a kid, like I just did, then you get stunned for a fairly long period of time. Now here's the interesting thing about the minigames. If you're good at the minigames, you'll basically be done sooner. But you won't actually... It's okay, Snarl. It's okay. Your people deserve this. Just remember that. It's not... You're not really punished, per se, for failing. You just have to do it again. Because, you see, there's a time limit. No, look, you can kind of see. They're little pop-up things, like this, here, see? They're just stuffed plush animals like that. When you're done... So if I failed, it would keep my progress, basically. And so I would just have to do it again in order to finish up.
Greetings. Go with honor.
So that's one game. That's actually probably my favorite of the mini-games here. This one is kind of a controversial game, because this is basically how good is your connection, the game. This is almost entirely based on server lag, how well you're going to do on this one. Nope. Terrible. You're supposed to get in the middle of it. If you get very center of it, you'll actually get the full 5 points in one run. If you don't feel like running back, you can pay 1 silver to go straight back to the cannon.
Pleased to meet you.
There's actually a lot of convenience features in this Faire, which I actually do like, that they have those options. Yeah, the races, I suppose I will have to show off the races as much as I really don't want to. Damn it. Okay, so I might as well explain why I'm doing so terribly. I have no idea visually what my timing is for that. I go off of an audio cue. I actually have an add-on that has a countdown timer, and I know that the moment she says a certain syllable in the word one, or when she says it, that's when I hit it, and I'm pretty consistent with that, but I have that add-on off. So that's why I'm terrible at it right now. There are goblins around here. Oh, speaking of multiracial organizations, the Darkmoon Faire really doesn't care what race you are. Also, this is one of the only places where human alliance and horde coexist peacefully. There's actually a theory going around that the way they enforced that, even in a time of open war between the alliance and the horde, that the old god thing I mentioned earlier that might be prevalent here is how they can enforce the two sides having fun, rather than, you know, not, you know, killing each other like everyone would imagine they would actually do.
Off and away.
So we're gonna give this one more shot, and then I'm just gonna give up. So, hopefully here. I really don't know what visual cue I'm looking for at all. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Hey, Neurozos. So why don't we show some of the other things off?
Salutations! Off and away!
Well, see, the thing is, Takoida, if there is actually an old god of fun or whatever here, that would actually make a lot of sense. Especially if the Horde Alliance bias has been fed by old gods this whole time. It would kind of additionally make sense that in the presence of this old god, which is not actually, you know, inclined towards violence, at least not the same, you know, rampant, violent, chaotic killing that everyone else is, it is possible that then, under those circumstances, people here are naturally influenced simply by being here to be more, peaceful, for lack of a better term. There's so many quests I can't do because I have no professions. Okay, so this is my least favorite of the games. I don't... Okay, so the reason why is that right there. You see that? You know how I'm up against the frickin' thing? No, Unzoth would easily be lawful evil. That's definitely his band. Whereas Cthulhu would easily be chaotic evil. Yogg is a little trickier. I'd have to think about him.
You come get the
Alright, let me shoot. So you have to actually aim. Basically what you're doing in gameplay terms is you're casting a cone effect, and you're trying to get it on the targetable target, like that. And yes, Zoan, that's a deliberate thing. It's an extra layer of security, because Nightbot has been inconsistent about deleting links. So... it needs to be a little more consistent. And done. I'm pretty practiced at that.
How you do it, man?
The trick, for anybody curious, is to start shooting the moment before it actually spawns, and just guess where it's going to be. That's the trick that I've got. That's all I've got for that one. This is one of my favorite additions, actually, to the Darkmoon Faire. So these are some fairly hard, actually, matches between, in some Pokemon pet battles. In fact, this is a good time to show off Pokemon pet battles. Let me get my team. I have a specific team built for both of these guys. Let me just think about that for a moment. I need... Let me try to remember here. Right, I know what team I need for this route. I need you. And you're gonna start... You basically need a specific setup for these things. These guys are really unfairly difficult Pokemon battles. In fact, even with my setup, I don't always win. I'm trying to remember if I have... I don't think he's that. I think I need... Yeah, okay. So for this battle, I need... you. Alright. So.
Get gabbing or get going.
Now you can
That's
actually
enough
win
gabbing for me today.
a pet from these, in addition to the fact that this is a great source of tokens.
What's your story?
So let's do it.
Let the light of the new moon guide you.
Warcraft 2 music. Okay, so... Increase my speed. Get in one quick swipe. Hide to survive. Lost the buff. Oh, yeah, that's right. So now we need to get our speed buff again. There's a little bit of RNG in how this works out. So anytime I do this attack right here, I hit 2 or 3 times. The more of those that I hit for 3, the more I'm going to win. So, like, for example, if I had hit 3 any of the earlier times, I might have actually pulled that out without actually requiring this. I may actually have just lost this fight because of that bad RNG. You can change the camera, by the way. It's not set to that spot. Yeah, I just lost the fight. I'm just going to go ahead and surrender. There's no reason to even try. So I'm going to go ahead and heal really quick. If I can remember where the ability is. But there it is. I'll just put that over there.
What can I do for you?
Okay, let's try it again. Better RNG. Go! Come on, give me 3 hits. Give me 3 hits. Damn it. Whatever. Come on, 3 hits. God damn it. Yeah, this may be another loss due to RNG. I usually don't have that bad of RNG in this fight, to be completely honest with you. I'm a little surprised by how badly I'm getting mulched here. Whatever. Let's go ahead and go for it, even though it's really, 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 really unlikely I'm going to manage this. Like, starting at a disadvantage going into the auto fight is just bad. Yes, I want to blow that one. Because he's going to do that. Bam. And I need to do this. We're going to do this. See, this is the problem with starting at a disadvantage. My usual tactic here may not work. Basically, I'm going to get one big shot off on this guy, and it's this shot right here, and then he's just going to kill me next round. Bam! And it wasn't enough. And I'm dead. So, like I said, we're starting downhill, basically, here. We need... And this is gonna suck, but... Okay, let's just go ahead and do this. Let's bring him down. I could have been risky with my strat there, and gone ahead and tossed down a turret. But there's a very, very likely chance he would have gone ahead and put up a shield. I don't have the add-on that shows his ability cooldowns. So this is just basically a DPS rate. Otto is terrible. Otto has an attack that heals himself for a lot. You have to just pile the damage on in order to be able to bring him down before he brings you down. And if you start off at a disadvantage because of RNG, it's terrible. I may not be able to do this despite the fact that I have a pretty strong advantage on him. That may have just sealed it for me. Bam! Okay, we're good, we're good. And that's how you beat this bastard. Holy crap.
Ain't you a chipper-looking one?
And I got nothing. My miniature Iron Star is level 1. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so the other guy, who is this guy over here, we're going to go ahead and fight. I need a slightly different setup here. I'm just trying to remember what it is. I know he's part of it. At least I think he is. Pretty sure. Hang on, so... First round's against him. What do I use against him? I'm trying to remember. It's been a really long time since I've done this stuff, so I'm trying to remember my strategies here. I had a team I specifically leveled to fight these two bastards. I know he's part of it, too. He's part of it for that, and he's part of it for that. So, maybe it isn't him. Maybe it's... Oh, yeah, okay. And it's going to start off with him, I think. And I can't do it yet because I need to heal. Oh, damn it. 4 minutes and I can do that quest. Anyways. Let's show off some of the other things you can do while we're at it. The other mini-games. So this is an interesting one.
My attention. Be good. Talk to me. Off with you.
Getting the achievement for this one was crazy, by the way. The achievement for this one is you have to get a ridiculous number of targets in the 30 seconds provided. I had to basically pseudo-glitch the system to make it happen. And then they nerfed it to make it easier. But what I mean by pseudo-glitch is, so some targets wouldn't actually spawn... okay, you could basically hit targets for another player under the right circumstances. You see this kind of back and forth thing I'm doing? That kind of causes it to regather who exactly you can hit targets for. So if there are other players up, and this trick required other players being up, then you would have the ability to hit some of their targets, which was the only way I found to do it. So yes, I made someone else's game worse in order to make that achievement doable. And done.
Here there. Watch your back.
That's that minigame. That's a fun little one. Hasn't been 4 minutes yet. Damn it. So you might wonder what her quest is. Well, hers is actually what you refer to as a weekly quest, which is why it's showing as yellow, not blue. You can only do it once per thing, obviously. Basically, you have to go till 250 anything, and you get Darkmoon prize tickets for it. We're obviously not going to even bother picking that up. They added a new quest here. This is actually probably the best of the new dailies.
Interesting.
The best of the new mini-games, I
Be
think.
careful out there.
This achievement was also a lot of fun to get. You have to fly through the hoops. If you fail to fly through the hoops, you fall. The hoops actually maintain you in the air. You can kind of tell by my buffs being buffed up there. The achievement for this one, which actually took a little bit of planning and routing to do, is to get that stack up there to a certain number. The reward for it is the flaming wings you've actually seen me turn on a few times, because it's really, really fun to walk around with wings made of flame. What can I say? But this is easily my favorite of the mini-games in the Darkmoon Faire. Just doing the actual daily, which is, as you can see, I'm already done with, is pretty easy. And then we can go and turn in. Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
So, there's also a gentleman over here who we need to talk about. Oh, I got the hat! Increases experience gain. Woo! I've known long you'd seek me out. It's one of the only gnolls we actually interact with peacefully in the entire game. Every sentient being in this world is driven by the choices they make. Choices beget further choices, and these in turn make someone who they are. This is where your fortune is drawn from. Who you are! I can't do a gnoll voice. And who your choices make you. Are you ready to discover where your fortune lies? So what you do is you go through this whole I'm ready for my fortune. He'll give you questions, you answer them, and based on what path you take, you will get a certain buff. Now that buff is actually kind of useful under some circumstances, but we're just going to play it naturally and see what buff we get. So what do we got here? You have been tasked with your liege to guard his fields of corn from poachers and thieves. One night, out on patrol, you stumble across a haggard man in a threadbare clothing, stealing corn from the field. You immediately confront him, and he begs for his life. He claims he is stealing the corn to feed his family, since the lord of the land, your liege, demands too much in taxes. Your liege is indeed known for his harsh taxes. Make your choice! So you can slay the man on the spot, as my liege would expect nothing to do, and he is little more than a thief and a liar. Or, I turn over the man to my liege for punishment, as he has broken the law of the land, and it is my sworn duty to defend it. Or, I confiscate the corn he has stolen, warn him that stealing is a path towards doom and destruction, but I let him go and return to his family. Or, I allow the man to take enough corn to feed his family for a couple of days, encouraging him to leave the land. So, we're going to be a good guy. What do you guys think? Oh, actually, I'll let you guys know. Should we be a good guy or a bad guy? Or a middle guy? This is the general thread. You can be really evil, really good, or like sort of both. Those are your 4 options. What do you think we should be, guys? I know what the one would do. He is committing heresy by stealing from the Emperor. He must be destroyed. I'm surprised how few of you are agreeing on what we should do. We'll go ahead and be a good guy. We'll show what happens when we're a good guy. You alone have defeated a terrible beast that has been ravaging the countryside, taking its ear as a trophy. You'll later hear that your liege has offered a reward for the beast's death, and a kind but destitute knight who you know is trying to support a family by meager means claims the beast's kill as his own. You have no real need for the money, but you know this destitute knight is lying for his own personal gain. You can show my liege the beast's ear and claim the beast's death as my own, taking the reward for my own use. It is wrong to claim a deed as your own that someone else in fact did. Or, I would show my liege the beast's ear and claim the beast's death as my own. I did slay it, after all. I would then offer some reward to the destitute knight to help his family. Or, I would remain silent and allow the knight to claim the reward to aid his family. We will lie again! Your fortune is cast, Druid. For the next few hours you will have plus 10% armor for being a tank. And then he gives you a fortune. Fortune number 19. The Forsaken are up to something. There's some interest. In fact, let me go ahead and find these here, because there's some interesting fortunes here. Never eat beef with a Tauren. Number 2. You will find something wonderful tomorrow. Number 3. An enemy from your past will soon become an ally. Illidan! Oh, excuse me. Number 4. You will be fortunate in everything you put your hands to. Number 5. Someone speaking well of you. First love, lots of self-love. Rest is a good thing. Most of these are kind of normal. I'm just kind of zipping through these. Divine shields and hearthstones do not make a hero heroic. An answer in blue is always true. That is so not true. For those who are not aware, devs, when they talk to you in-game, or I shouldn't say devs because they're not devs, but Blizzard employees have blue text. Hunters who specialize in survival are not guaranteed to survive. So this actually used to be completely different. This used to be a joke, this ring toss. Now it's completely changed in the way it functions.
See you around.
It used to be what you do is you
See you
just
later.
spam them right around him and RNG would do the rest. Now, as you can see, the area where you can land the rings is much, much smaller. And the turtle slowly walks out, rushes back to the middle, and then slowly walks out again. It's a completely different strategy from the old thing. Hang on just a second. Oh, I'm apparently not close enough. Hang on a second. There's an achievement for getting all of these, too, and I had to do a bit of a trick to make that work. which is that, what I just did right there. You only need 3 for the daily, though, which we'll go and just turn in.
Good day to you. Safe travel.
So that's actually a pretty fun one, too. Like I said, I like it when WoW does, you know, kind of weird, random stuff like that. There's also quests which I can't actually show you, but they're basically profession quests. None of them are very complicated. It's literally just go use your profession in your capital town. And they're all very, very basic. They're the kind of things that a level 1 could do. By design, I feel like pointing out. And Grift is here.
What you want?
Here, buy this from me.
Spirits.
Unfortunately, I do have to show off the races.
What's the word on the street?
So this is your first race, huh? Don't worry, it's easier than it looks. So run through the big banner there. Starts everything. Then follow the smaller banners till you see a big blue post. You've scored on your time, so finish as fast as you can. Let's do it. Alright, so you have 4 possible racers. Each of them have completely different abilities here. I'm trying to remember which one I actually know particularly well. That's the jump, and that's the lasso. So I think this is the one I want. So there's the jump to hazard, and... yeah, okay, so let's do this. Really? Okay. So you get these power-ups. That one sends you flying. Kind of like that. If you hit those, you just jump forward. These bounce you in the air. These lunge you forward. Now, you might wonder, I don't actually have to hit the, excuse me. I don't actually have to hit the, the posts. Those just boost my, damage a bit. Oops, I apparently screwed that up. Hello, Dr. Z. Oh, apparently we're just doing the tutorial. The whole race goes across the whole island, as you can see. The actual achievement for getting gold on these is absolutely crazy. It is legitimately one of the hardest things I've done in this game, and I mean that sincerely. Like, not the hardest, but it's in, like, the top 20 of hardest things I've done. It is... basically, you have about 1 second total of leeway time. And you have to basically cheat the system in order to make it work at all. And you have to get lucky because there's RNG involved. And server lag. So, yeah. I believe I have not actually done all of them. I believe I actually gave up on the idea. Because the other ones didn't give me things I wanted. I'm trying to remember. I guess that's under events. So here's my proof that I've done a few of the golds. There's that one gold, there's that one gold, there's that one gold. Oh yeah, you have to do each twice, by the way. Yeah, it looks like I have not gotten the Powermonger gold, which I believe is this one. I think. Yeah, Powermonger. In fact, I don't think I've done the Powermonger at all. So yeah, these suck, is what I'm trying to say. They're very, 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 very difficult. Not to do the daily. Doing the daily is a joke. But, doing the achievement is not. Let me out of the vehicle. Let me out of the vehicle. There we go. Sheesh. There's also some fishing. There's a fishing daily, of course. That's what these guys are doing. I believe there's one unique fishing thing you can get from here. I don't remember exactly. I'm not sure if that's still true or if I'm just misremembering. They have a zoo. They have a crystal, the basilisk. Please avoid eye contact. And, of course, the careless carny there. Carney. So there's the Lion King. That's what it is. I don't actually know what this one's a reference to. Violet and Goldwing. I'm sure someone else knows what that is. Here's Gargantua. Totally not King Kong there. I'm not sure who Fellini is, but I do know who Jumbo is. Oh, and Jumbo Jr., of course. I think you're right on that, Psychotic. Yeah, apparently not Dakota. And, of course, there's actually a petting zoo, too. This is gonna be funny when I go into this thing like this. Can you even see that poor tiny ram underneath my gigantic boomkin form? You can do it, little guy! You can do it! Ah, you can do it! Ah, the tiger! Ah, the tiger! Oh, God. Oh, God, he's dying. He's dying. I think that's basically everything here. There's also a PvP thing. I suppose I should mention this. So there's a PvP thing here that I've never done and never will do. It's basically a free-for-all Brawl of Doom. Whoever wins gets a thinger. You have to win several times to get the achievement, which is why I'm never actually going to bother doing that. They have the level 90, etc., who have formally moved here. This is where they actually perform nowadays. So that's their location. Of course, the Horde and the Alliance can totally get along with all cheering level 90, etc. Oh, yeah, there's an heirloom you get from it too, but like I said, I will never do that. This is the dancing bear. Dance for me, bear. Very good. I believe I have that mount. Pretty sure I do.
Elune be with you.
Those are new. When did they add these? Apparently you can buy elixirs now with tokens. That's actually kind of cool. So you can actually get stat stuff now instead of just cosmetic stuff here.
May the stars guide you.
What brings you here?
And of course, lots and lots and lots of booze.
May the stars guide you.
And some unique food too. In fact, my personal favorite type of food is actually here.
I have just the thing for you.
Salty sea dogs. A deep fried fish stick served on a sausage roll. Madness.
We shall meet again.
Exactly, psychotic. I still don't know if that's true or not, but I would. That is my personal take on it. And of course, it's actually the same woman from Lorerun
What brings you here?
who is now here selling the exact same many sweets and cakes she sells in Lorerun. I actually wonder that too, Zoan Joker. If I ever, like, had one of those, you know, you end up in the setting kind of things, I would actually want to attend the Darkmoon Faire and try out the food. Just literally just out of curiosity of how it tastes and whatnot. So anyways, this is the Darkmoon Faire. I really don't have much else to talk about here. Yeah, I'm actually pretty hungry, too. We're going to go and abandon that. There we go. Can't even turn in the pelt. That is hilarious. So you might ask, well, how do we get out of here other than hearthing? Well, there is actually something they added, which is kind of neat. Yeah, considering my... Okay, so my alcohol tolerance is weird. I have never actually drunk enough to be drunk in my life. Like, I just... so I have a fairly large amount of alcohol tolerance. However, if I drink before I go to sleep, which obviously I haven't done in years and years at this point, but it was a way to help me stay asleep. It wouldn't put me to sleep, but it would keep me asleep, if that makes any sense. Yes, Shadow. The fried fish stick served on a sausage is definitely vegan. So there's this portal which you can click, which will send you back to Goldshire. Now, unfortunately, you will have to hearth to get back. But at least they do have an exit portal for you to get out. Oh, shoot, there's one... I'm sorry, there's one other thing I want to show off. I'm sorry. I completely spaced this. This is my fault. There's actually technically a couple other things I could show off. Like, there's an item you can get here, which is really cool, which obviously I've already done. I just have to remember what it's called. Does anyone remember what the Fell Elf thing is called? I have not gotten the White Rabbit, for anybody curious. The White Rabbit of Cairbogan is here. And every bit as vicious as you might imagine. Whoa! That was too far, apparently. Ring of Broken Promises, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. You kind of remember where the holes in the fence are after a while. Alright, Ring of Broken Promises. There it is. So there's an item you can get here. It's actually really cool. Hey, Azura. And yes, you missed the race starter. Such as it is. This is what that toy does. It turns you into a fell elf. Only for 15 minutes, but still. The item itself, unfortunately, has a 2-hour cooldown, so you can't maintain it like some things. But, oh, you get to turn into a fell elf, and it looks cool. Why can't we do this as a sub-race? And you can really see how awesome this looks. Like, for example, our hands are literally glowing with fell energy. It's just cool. So where... She's somewhere over here. You're going to have to give me a moment. Like I said, the White Rabbit of Kerbogan is here. And is actually pretty hard to kill. I have never actually managed to get a group together to kill him. Ah, here we go. But if you're tired of the regular fare of food, you can go see Rona Greenteeth.
What is it?
Oh, a visitor. I don't get many visitors out here. Hungry? I've cooked many delightful things, my dear. Oh no, not the fish. Those are for when I can't catch anything sweeter.
Embrace the shadow.
So I've actually kind of told you what this stuff is. Beard-basted? I meant beer-basted short ribs. Then there's Dranic dumplings. Forsaken foie gras. Why, yes, there are ducks and geese in Tirsifal. Nomragon nuggets, breaded, bite-sized, and mechanically inclined. I mean processed. Green ham and eggs from those rough, brutish Duratar swine. Yeah! And gull eggs. Mulgore meat pie. There's the beef, sweetling. Silvermoon steak. Ah, the cattle of Eversong are especially lean and tender. Stormwind surprise. Yeah! Teldrassil tenderloin. Of course it's venison, sweetling. What else would it be? Troll tartar. Troll style tartar, that is, my dear. And then she also sells last month's mutton, which is a weapon. And last year's mutton and last month's mutton. So
Our time will
yeah.
come.
Hearthstone lore basically doesn't exist. Now there is a bit of lore to Hearthstone. It's actually very, very simple to explain. Hearthstone is a bunch of people in the Warcraft setting playing Hearthstone. That's it. That's the lore. There's nothing else there to that. So, actually, hang on. Why couldn't I equip the button? What was the limitation there? Oh, right. I should go do the pet battle really quick before I leave. That's true. There's no Worgen food here. Good morning, G-Juice.
What now?
I need to look into that. Ah, requires level 29 and requires level 50.
Beware.
That's why I can't equip it, guys. Sorry. My bad. Oh, that's totally what I mean, Darch Bouncer. Yes, thank you. Basically, yes. With regards to the Hearthstone thing. I say druids can use maces. I used one in Icecrown Citadel. It was like best in slot forever. Alright, I believe I have the right team set up for this. Hopefully I do.
Oi, good day. I got a bad feeling.
No. Yeah, the monkey's terrible. He's very predictable, but his attacks are very irritating. Is he what I used for that? He can't be, though. Because I used him for the second guy. I thought it was him that I used. Sorry, give me a second. I can't remember who the hell I used for the first guy. I really can't. Okay, I remember now. I leveled this guy just for fighting him. Yep, there he is. Okay, so he's my first guy. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. Let's try this again.
We've been walled up for far too long.
Yeah, shut up, Gilnean. Okay, okay. Yes. Spirit of Competition is great for taking out this first guy. Because Spirit of Competition is way slower, and he has an attack that does more damage as you're slower, and an attack that buffs your damage. So... Oh, he also has an attack that slows you, which is great. So I almost always take him out easily, and then have a little bit of additional firepower to go after this guy, and help make my second guy. Because this guy sucks! That honky-tonk... Yeah, he hurts way too much. As you can see. What's funny is, the other fight was usually easier for me than this one, even though this is supposed to be the easier of the two. But ever since I got my actual setup going, it's worked out a lot better. Ah, damn it! 16 damage. Go down. So this guy sucks. Fezwick always does the exact same thing. He's way faster than most of my guys. So first thing he does is he just stuns you for a turn. Then he hits you. Then he'll drop bananas on your face. I'm not kidding. Now, the bananas are an AoE effect. In pet terms, what that means is it's not a dot on your pet. It's a dot on your pet's side. So no matter who I have over here, they're going to get hit by that. Which sucks. Good news is, I've totally got him. Like I said.
Any friend of Greymane is a friend of mine.
And nothing. Oh well. So, with all that done... I need to look up something really quick. I'm actually going to chop off the recording, because we're going to go ahead and start the next zone. So, without further ado, I think it's time for us to head to Ashenvale. See you in a bit, guys.